It's a busy week for the property market this week, with 2,845 properties auctions scheduled to take place across the country. New South Wales will hold 1,025 auctions. That's called a Super Saturday, with 883 of them in Sydney. It's also a Super Saturday in Victoria, which is hosting 1,087 auctions, and almost all of them are in Melbourne. Queensland will hold 436 auctions, with about half of them in Brisbane. South Australia has 190 auctions scheduled, with virtually all of them in Adelaide. Western Australia, Tasmania and the Northern Territory will hold 25 auctions between them, and the ACT will hold 82 auctions. Taking a look at the most viewed properties going to auction this weekend, and in New South Wales, it's 1 Henry Street, Balmain. This 4-bedder has 3 bathrooms and a car space. It's split over 2 levels and is filled with light. The top property in Victoria is number 25 Netherley Street, Glen Iris. This 3-bedder has 2 bathrooms, 2 parking spaces, and it catches the morning sun. Asking price $1.7 to $1.8 million. The top property in Queensland is 32 Leigh Street, Upper Mount Gravatt. This large, family-friendly 5-bedder has 2 street frontages, a swimming pool, and a large garden. The top property in South Australia is 30A Gladstone Road, Mile End. This 4-bedroom cottage has been extensively renovated and modernised. It's just a few minutes' drive from the Adelaide CBD. Price guide on this one is $995,000. And the top property in Western Australia is located at 35 McLeod Road, Applecross in Perth. This giant 4-bedder sits on almost 2,000 square metres. The problem is the home has fallen into disrepair and needs to be completely renovated or knocked down. And the most viewed property on the REA Group website this week is located at 40 Eaton Street, Malvern in Adelaide. This home was originally built in 1910, but as you can see, it's been completely updated with a massive renovation. The classic style facade of the home at the front with the bricks, mortar and sandstone is a big contrast to the rear, where it's all giant concrete columns, straight lines and huge glass windows. The property has 4 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms and parking space for 2 vehicles. The land is roughly 740 square metres and the home is only a 10-minute drive from the Adelaide CBD. Inspection is by appointment and the agents are taking offers until October 10. For more on property, I caught up with Paul Ryan from REA Group a little earlier.
Really unseasonably strong. I mean, 2,800 auctions this weekend is 85% more than we had last year. Of course, it was a public holiday long weekend in Victoria this time last year. But Super Saturdays in Sydney and Melbourne, I mean, it's more than 1,000 auctions scheduled. It's going to be a big weekend, and we're in the first month of spring.
How have clearance rates been holding up over the last few weeks of spring?
Really quite positively. We've seen auction clearance rates above 60% still, despite, as I said, really unseasonably high auction numbers. That shows that we've got lots of buyers out there, and even as more sellers come to market, buyers are there to pick up the properties.
What sort of website traffic are you getting right now? Is there a lot of interest starting to pick up as we go into spring? And we've had some pretty hot weather already, but yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. The market's heating up. We're seeing lots of activity on realestate.com.au. The big surprising thing this year has been how strong buyer demand has been despite sharply higher interest rates.
Do you think sellers are now feeling a bit more confident because they've had a look at property prices really rising? Is it every month of this year?
Yeah, I think what the story is seller confidence has really returned in the second half of this year. We've seen prices rise every month this year, up 3.5% over 2023 this year so far. We've seen interest rates held steady over the last 3 months. So sellers are a bit more confident about their finances in upgrading. Buyers are a bit more confident in their finances to make bids at auctions, and we're seeing that in market activity.
Yeah, it sort of feels like interest rates are close to their peak. So from a buyer's perspective, they can sort of say, okay, this is probably how much I'm going to be able to borrow at a good level. So that's giving them confidence as well to buy properties. And I guess part of it as well, with all the stock being out there, they can be a bit pickier and have more choice too with what they want to get.
Yeah, it's a virtuous cycle. So the confidence the buyers get knowing that they kind of plan their finances for the first few years of a mortgage when it's most tough. But the other thing is a lot of sellers have been staying on the sidelines because there hasn't been something for them to upgrade to. So as more stock comes on the market, that gives potential sellers more opportunities to buy, which then opens up more supply for buyers.
So this week, we had the New South Wales budget and we had a $2.2 billion housing package announced by the Minns government. The Victorian government have also got their own little housing package out as well. What's this going to do for the property sector in general?
I think these are all measures that are pointing in the right direction. They're recognising that there's a lot of inhibitions to building more homes. So planning, infrastructure, social housing, both of these plans addressed all of those measures in slightly different ways, but recognise that this is kind of a whole of system issue. Is there's not one silver bullet to building more homes, and that's fundamentally what we need to do.
These governments have said they want to get this legislation through, get this stuff rolling quickly, but in reality, obviously, it takes a long time to build thousands of homes. The construction sector, we know, is still under pressure. So it's probably not going to be for a few years that we're going to start reaping the benefits from this.
Yeah, that's the unfortunate thing. It's in the right direction. We know that this housing shortage is going to be maintained for some time now. Housing demand is really strong. It's going to take a while for us to build our way out of it.
The other part as well, population is still growing at a strong rate. So that's another bit of pressure that's being added to the market too.
Yeah, absolutely. It's one of the key factors to housing demand at the moment. Another key one is just, cities opening up after COVID, universities going back to face-to-face. There's a lot of demand in parts of the country that we haven't seen for several years now.
Yeah, a lot of people were in regional areas. They're returning to the CBDs and it's pushing up rents.
Yep. Yeah, we're not seeing as strong a demand in regional parts of the country as we were. We've seen capital city prices outperform regional areas this year, which has been the first time for a few years now that that's happened. It's showing that cities are back.
Paul Ryan from REA Group, thanks so much for your time.
Thank you very much.